man.
Word.
The dogs are out. You're gonna forget.
No, I'm not.
It's July. What are you putting a blanket on for?
Because I can't give out the dogs for free. Before we started recording, Eli said that that's the only thing he's ever learned from me.
That's not exactly
He said his exact words to me were, I've never learned anything from you ever except for the fact that I should never give away my feet for free on the internet.
So you're not totally wrong. I did say, if there's one thing that you've taught me,
Yeah.
it's that you never give your dogs away for free.
Not for free. People will pay for that shit.
Dear viewer and listener, Amanda is barefoot right now.
No, I'm not.
Well, she's human foot, but
Allegedly.
she has nothing on her feet. You have a blanket. You're fine. Stop hitting my stand.
No, you gave me the GIMP this week.
I didn't give you shit.
Oh, that's right, because you don't do any setup work.
Right. I show up, I sit down, I say goofy shit for an hour and a half, I leave.
And this week I was like, Eli, bring me your computer charger. And he was like, okay. And then he brought me, this was my fault. He brought me his computer charger. We don't have the same computer. And
I told you what kind of charger
yeah.
it was.
You gave me the options and I chose incorrectly. I'm sorry. Okay, there we go. I think we're good.
We're about to have
We're about to tussle.
A tussle. Oh.
a fisticuffs.
Oh,
a battle of
why I oughta.
Okay, if you need to eat a cheesy snack at any point, just let me know and I'll turn your microphone down and you can crunch.
I've sealed it. When you have to go and restart the camera, I'll just
shotgunning cheesy turtles and protein puffs.
Yeah, these are pretty good.
They are. I have to adjust just a little bit.
The Aldi, not a sponsor, but could be.
Oh my God, yeah.
Protein puffs found at Aldi.
They're actually really good. I saw a girl on the internet who does like meal prep stuff. Uh-huh. And she was talking about the filler stuff that she keeps in her pantry as like snack stuff and like treat stuff. And whatever. There you go. And she was talking about like all the treats that she keeps. And she was like, I tried these protein puffs, blah, blah, blah. And she said they're really good. And I was like, I want some now.
That's like, the crazy thing is, that's like a shitload of protein.
That was her point, was like, holy hell.
These literally just taste like jalapeno, like any type of cheesy puff you've ever had.
You know what kind of cheese isn't any of my business?
Nacho cheese.
Nacho cheese. But you know what cheese is my business? Jalapeno cheese, because it's jalapeno business.
All right, well, I think
you ready to get started?
We can stop it there, I think.
Yeah. Have a great week, everyone. See you next week. Bye. He's like, okay. Welcome back to the Pyramid, guys, gals, and non-binary pals. My name is... What? Do you have thoughts?
Rarely, but I hope you leave that sniff in the recording.
No, I had a little bit of snot.
No, that's okay. I just I
have the hay fever.
It cuts off theme music, and then you hear, welcome back to the Pyramid.
Really quick, if this thing is starting to go limp, in your experience, what do I need to say to this so that it feels validated and like it totally is cool?
Validation
and I think
has
it's really
nothing to do with
hot and it doesn't need to go limp. What's the secret sauce?
You can try grabbing the back of it and adjusting that a little bit.
Oh my God. That's an insane sentence.
You can try switching sides. Like, you're right now it's on your left hand. You can move
Okay. This one I think is the GIMP of the two.
Yeah, well,
I'll just turn like this and maybe that will do some of the work. I don't know.
Anyway, so you can continue with your intro.
Sorry. Anyway, okay, I'm going to do the intro for real. Ready?
Yes.
Welcome back to the Pyramid, guys, gals, and non-binary pals. My name is Amanda, and I'm your host every single mother-freaking week, except for the weeks that I'm mother-freaking not.
Wow, switching it up on us. And I'm Eli, the dipshit participation trophy of co-hosts.
Ooh, ooh. Very exciting. Before we do anything important, we're going to talk about
Are we ever going to do anything
Yes, this is very important, bitch. We do very important journalistic work here.
That's true.
First of all, we are not going to have a regularly scheduled episode next week. When you're hearing this is Monday the 15th. This is coming out on Wednesday the 17th. Next Wednesday, the 24th, is going to just be a YouTube video. It's so funny. Eli doesn't know who JoJo Siwa is, really. And he also doesn't know about any of the illustrious bullshit that's been going on in her music career recently. So Eli and I are going to film a reaction video wherein Eli watches the Karma music video for the first time. I've seen it, obviously, because I'm not 45. Eli has not. So we're going to do a fun little, like, reaction commentary kind of moment. So that'll be up on the YouTube channel on Wednesday the 24th. Because our recording nights are Monday nights, obviously. And next Monday's recording night is occupied because we're recording for another podcast. And I'm not going to say who it is because I don't know when this is coming out. Or I guess I can say who it is. I just don't know when it's coming out.
Yeah, you can say who it is.
Eli and I have been invited through some, like, cosmic joke or cosmic...
I still think we're being pranked.
I think we're being pranked. This was so embarrassing. Okay, Eli and I have been invited to be on an episode of the podcast Sounds Like a Cult, which is, like, an actual podcast.
Yeah, right? Literally, like, dozens of our listeners just went, what?
Yeah, our dumbasses are going to be on it. One of the main, like, members, the main host, Amanda, her name is also Amanda.
Hilarious.
Emailed us and asked if we wanted to be on the podcast because her listeners have been asking for an episode about dance moms for a long time. Eli and I get spam emails, like, all the time of, like, promote my thing, blah, blah, blah. And it's, like, obviously AI generated or, like, obviously a scam. And so it's, like, whatever. I opened that email and I was like, obviously this is a scam because that podcast is real. Like, this woman goes on tour with her podcast. She writes books. Like, this is a joke, obviously. So I responded and I was like, damn, I really wish this was real, but I have a feeling it's a scam. If it's not a scam, let me know, LOL. Was, like, basically what I said. So then I go to check our Instagram, which I never do, and she had DM'd us from their verified, tens of thousands of followers on Instagram, verified account, asking us, hey, or just letting us know, hey guys, just let you know, we sent you an email just a minute ago about being on an episode. And I was like, that's top 10 most embarrassing things I've ever done in my life. Because I responded, I said, oh my God, I sent you such a bitchy email in response, please disregard. And then, so the first email came from, like, their production account, so that's why it looked like a scam. And then the second one came from the host herself as an individual. And she was like, totally understand how this could have seemed like a scam. It's not. Please let me know what dates work for you. And so
She was a good sport about it.
I am alone in my home screaming, freaking out about this. And I voice memoed you in, like, my, like, hysteria is the only way to describe it.
I was going to say you were alone temporarily because I was brought into your hysteria very quickly.
Freaking out.
You need to post those voice memos.
Voice memos? I don't have them anymore. Did you keep them? You probably did. I'm freaking the fuck out. And I'm not gonna lie, I tried to sit down and read to, like, calm myself, couldn't focus. Went to go to bed, couldn't fall asleep. I had to take half of an edible to go to sleep. I was so wired. I was just freaking out. Do you still have them?
I do, and I'm saving them to my voice memos, and we can potentially do something with them.
I'll put them right here. Okay, hello. We got an email that is very exciting, and I thought it was a scam, but I don't think it is. So this is from a group that's called Sounds Like a Cult. Like, it's a podcast, and it's a whole thing. And you're not in the email like that, but you and I get scam emails all the time that are, like, obviously a scam. But this one is from the Sounds Like a Cult podcast host, and she says, hi, my name's Amanda Montrell, and I'm the author of the books Cultish and The Magical Age of Overthinking, which are both on Amanda Baugh, both on my list of books I want to read. So I know who this woman is. And host of the iHeartRadio award-winning podcast Sounds Like a Cult, a lighthearted show around the modern-day quote-unquote cults we all follow, from Disney adults to Soul Cycle. Our listeners have been begging us to do an episode on the cult of dance moms, and we would love to have you on as guests for it. If you would be up for a 45-minute interview later this month, let me know. And I was like, okay, this is a scam. Because that woman's, like, legitimately famous, makes money off of doing podcasting, and is an author. So, like, this is a scam. She's not emailing you and me. So I responded kind of goofily, and I said, hi, this is Amanda from the Pyramid. Just here to confirm that this is fully not a scam, because I'm already a fan of Cultish as an individual, and if this is a scam, I will be distraught. If this is for real, Eli and I would be literally thrilled to talk about this on the pod. Let me know what your scheduling process looks like. Thanks, Amanda. Then I went to our DMs, and we have a DM from a verified Sounds Like a Cult account where it's like copy and paste of her email. So it's like very real, which is crazy. So I just responded to her email and I was like, hey, or to her Instagram message, and I was like, I just sent you an email back. Would love to chat. So you and I might, and their podcast account has 50,000 followers, and Amanda Montel, as an individual, has 70,000. Like, she's a real author woman person. So you and me might be on a For Real podcast, actually, which is going to be fucking crazy, because what the hell do we know about literally anything ever? The end. Oh my fucking god, dude. Okay, just got an email back. It is not a scam. Eli, this real ass podcast wants you and me to be on an episode about Dance Moms. How did we do this? How did we... Oh my god. Okay. Are you available July 22nd? It is a Monday night. If so, we're going to be on an actual For Real pod. Please let me know. I'm not freaking out. Goodbye. So you probably just heard those voice memos if I can remember to edit them in. Yeah, that was crazy. So next Wednesday, it's just a YouTube video. It's a reaction video up on the YouTube channel. And then we will let you know. I know they're an actual production company. We record 48 hours before release. So because we're just people who just do this for fun. We don't, this isn't our job. They are an actual, she was like, attached is like my production staff and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh my God, that's crazy.
That's not how we do things.
No, and if it can't happen on a Monday, it's probably not happening. You know what I mean? Like, if we've got plans on Monday, we're probably just skipping the episode. They're a real for real company. So anyway, I don't know, all this to say, I don't know when it's coming out. I don't think it's going to come out a couple days after we record it. I think they are, stacking episodes further out. So who knows? But we'll keep you posted. Sounds Like a Cult. Our two dumbasses talking about who the hell knows what. I don't know how the fuck they found us.
How did
you find out that we were talking about Dance Moms at all? How'd you find us?
Yeah. Why were you listening? Have you listened to an episode of the podcast?
Yeah.
The answer is going to be, oh no, we just saw you.
Or they're going to be like, you listened to your most recent one where you talked about how you don't think you're qualified to do this and how you guys are a bunch of fucking idiots. And I'll be like, and I'll be like, which episode was that? We talk about how we're unqualified and stupid all the time.
Yeah, it's easily our most talked about topic, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. So, very exciting. We also have received not one, but 2 listener emails.
Hell yeah.
Both somehow simultaneously the funniest emails I've ever read in my life. So this one is the subject line, Dance Moms Reddit. And it just from a woman named Megan, just starting out with hi with 14 eyes.
Has Megan written in before? Then we got an email from her.
No, she's a longtime listener. I think the first time emailing me.
Okay.
I did message Eli one of the first bullying DMs, and I've been listening since before your break. We love a pre-break fan.
Yeah, that's
pre-break
crazy.
Listeners have been on the journey with so many different aspects of my life specifically.
Which reminds me that some people who just kind of joined in after the fact, I hope that you go back and listen to the first episodes. The structure of them is so different. It's very clean and manicured. We have a start, a middle, and an end. And now it's just chaos for an hour and a half.
Oh, yeah.
Pure chaos.
Yeah, it's great. It's great. If you don't know the lore about the break, I was doing this podcast during my last year of teaching as a fun, I need to get out of the house. Well, not out of the house, but I need to have a hobby. And when I left teaching and then started a new job, I just couldn't handle that change. It was leaving teaching was one of the hardest decisions I've ever made in my life. Actively choosing to do something it was very difficult for me. And then I had a new job and I had a brand new group of friends, and it was just like so much change all at once. So I took a break. I took a break for like about a year. I took a break for like maybe like 9 or 10 months. And then last June decided to come back. And then a couple months after that, I guess in September when I moved in, I brought you on full time. So it's been a journey. So anyone who, the flex pre-break listener, that's an actual flex. That's crazy. Because it's been a long ass time. I've loved laughing with you all, or laughing with you and at Eli Slay. I like the difference there.
Yeah, that's fair.
Anyways, I saw this post on the Dance Moms Reddit today, and I just need you to see the post because there's a picture in the comments of Christy and Kelly's heads in the Lido deck that has me absolutely cackling. Lots of love, Megan. I'm going to open this. This picture is hilarious. I'm going to put it right here on the screen. But the picture of Kelly and Christy, so like this is the like behind the scenes footage of like whoever talking to Abby, and then this is Kelly and Christy, and it's literally just their little heads
just floating around.
The Lido deck just like peering over the top, like what's going on?
Like mannequins.
Yeah, they really do. They look like wig mannequins, just the heads, just like sitting up on the steps.
Just out there talking their shit.
So funny, relatable.
Yeah.
The next email is so long that I printed it out.
Dear God.
Pull this out of my ass. Not really. But I did print it out because it is so, it's so much that I couldn't look at it on my phone. And I'm not going to read this whole thing because it is
it's a book.
A page and a half.
Damn.
But I am going to read most of it. Okay, here we go. From an Anon user, from Dance Moms Anon. The subject line, kiss your friends.
Oh, here we go.
Hi, Amanda and Eli. Just a quick note. Love to remain anonymous. A few notes, actually, it turns out. And some comments on last week's episode and the Pyramid of Life. Apologies in advance for the extremely long email. Number one, Melissa and Abby crying about Abby's dad is completely played up for the camera. Abby's dad had died several years earlier, so her needing to heal from that is 90% bull. Remember last week, the reason why Abby said she wasn't there was like, I'm taking care of my mom. And she was like, and also my dad. And it's like, well,
no.
Your dad had died a long time ago, so it's not really a good reason for something that's happening right now. She
just brought up how it was tough, and it's like, okay. But like, also.
Now, understandably, the loss of someone so close to you would likely have a very heavy impact on your heart, especially if your mother is now sick. But we do, in fact, know Abby was going to meet and greets, and her mom wasn't really sick, so this doesn't really match up. As Bestie Tony mentioned, Abby's mom dies, spoiler alert, much later into season 4, and this is like a long, drawn-out plot point. Number 2, we must not forget that Abby and the rest of the cast are contractually on a TV show. Abby was required to eventually come back to the studio one way or another, though she was probably also... What? Though she was also probably harder to force back than some of the other moms, and Kelly was also forced to come back. Now, you might have seen that Miss Abby Lee Miller attempted to say that the kids weren't legally required to stay as their contracts weren't legally put through the court. This is a more recent claim. Abby has now said, like, you didn't have to come back because they weren't like notarized in a court of law. And it's like, that's not how a contract works. You sign something, they sign something. That's like in most states. That's like, that's kind of all you really need.
I'm not a lawyer. We're not getting legal advice.
Come on.
So.
Number 1, this is likely not true and it's completely bullshit. Number 2, let's say it was true. How on earth is the cast supposed to know that? As far as they knew, they were contractually bound, just like you, Miss Miller. If this were true, why were most exits based on fights? Why didn't they just walk away? Because, as they've mentioned, it was incredibly toxic. But the point of this rant is that eventually Abby has to come back to the studio, and Kelly, Brooke, and Paige weren't able to just, like, get the hell out of the studio because they all had contracts. So, like, that's kind of a dumb thing to bring up. The lore mentioned of Kelly isn't liked by Abby's mom is very confusing, and I don't have answers for that part, but I do know that if Mrs. Miller wasn't a fan of Kelly's behavior, how on earth is she okay with Abby?
I don't know.
On national television, everyone has said Mrs. Miller was so sweet. She also never wanted a kid, LOL. So where did that get lost in translation with Abby? Number 4 in all caps, the comment about Gia simply being too normal sent me. LOL. Background on some random kid Lucas that showed up. He was on Dance Moms Miami and actually is an amazing dancer. His mom is also
Dance Moms?
Yes. We're not going to get into all that. We're focusing on Dance Moms Pittsburgh, USA, America. But there's a Dance Moms. It's a British version.
Shut up.
It's like NCIS. all sorts. It's like Drag Race.
Dance Mums.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's about flowers.
Yeah, that's what it is. Everyone has said that Miss... Oh, wait. I already said that. He was on Dance Moms Miami and is actually an amazing dancer. His mom is also batshit crazy, so I'm not surprised that they brought them onto a regular season of Dance Moms.
Course.
Dumb. Yes, Yvette does own a studio. That's why she was helping Kathy.
That seems clear. She knew what she was doing for sure.
Yeah, for sure. I love the fact that you guys are so aware of everyone on the show who has transitioned. It's so comforting to hear you guys fully accept and do everything you can to make sure that you use the correct pronouns, etc. I'm sure that to you guys it might seem normal, but from someone who lives in a straight white male heavy state with people who aren't as accepting, it really is so great to hear and see.
Well, thank you. That's very kind of you. Glad we can, provide some reassurance and be allies.
Yep.
We live in fucking Tennessee, dog. This is not... We're in a little pocket of like slightly to the left. Like Nashville is a somewhat to the left city.
Yeah.
But the surrounding everything is a nightmare. Tennessee is an absolute Republican hellscape. So like for the most...
Someone's going to clip that. Not for free.
You're going viral.
If you saw that, Venmo me $5.
Just Venmo me $5.
Yeah.
So like,
but we see you in that for real. We both went to high schools in the most conservative part of the county or of the state. Like, we totally get it.
It's wild.
We totally get it. And in the future, if we fuck it up, it is a complete legitimate mistake. It is never intended to be like a slur or a dead naming. It's always a mistake. And please let us know if we do that. Let's see. Cody Simpson almost being an Olympian just made my jaw absolutely drop. Yeah, fall down that rabbit hole. It's crazy. He was almost an Olympic athlete.
I like that this person is likely listening to the episode as they're typing.
Friends. Love. It does say sent from my iPhone, so could be.
Perfect. I love kind of the live react.
I love this.
If that's what happened, this is a great email regardless. But like, if you're like live reacting as you're like sending an email or writing a review or whatever, amazing.
It's great. Eli, I so agree with the 4th being double-sided, 4th of July. For my family, it's even more different because my dad doesn't even get the day off work because he works for British people. So they're like, what the fuck? But
Does he work in Britain?
No, but I do get to listen to people scream America like on his team.
I'm so
And then people ask like, what's a kilometer? Like just like working out that difference. And I can't pretend that it doesn't make me laugh, except for the redneck and then she said, except for the redneck conservative males, go fuck yourself. Real.
Yeah, fair.
In all caps, Amanda, I agree. Kiss your friends.
Yeah,
thank you so much for that.
You might as well. You're already 2/3 of the way through the email.
Yeah. Let's see. Bottom of the pyramid for this listener. There was a hurricane in Houston, Texas. I didn't know about this, but that's the bottom of the pyramid for this person. That there was a hurricane in Texas. I've had no power for like 3 days. What the hell am I supposed to do without power?
What if it was a hurricane?
Well, you know what's a him hurricane or a he hurricane? A she hurricane. You know what's crazy is that the body of the email originally said this stupid ass hurricane. Ass hurricane. Yeah, I just didn't want to set you up for that.
That was my nickname in college, actually.
Ass hurricane.
You betcha.
Jesus Christ. The middle of the pyramid is a couple things. Number 1, college baseball. Get ready. We're talking about baseball.
Okay. No.
Your favorite thing. Now, I would say that as a female who is a competitive dancer, I would likely have zero to say about the sport. However, my brother plays baseball, and my family is a big Aggie family. Ew, I know.
Oh, yo.
And they were just in the College World Series. Please prepare yourself because I will be saying some not great things about the Tennessee team. I truly do not like the way that the team behaves on the field. It feels very trashy at points and cocky, which I guess is kind of valid because their team was the number 1 seed, but no other teams were ranked who were ranked so highly acted like them. That was just frustrating to me, and also their name being the Volunteers, I'm going to be honest, sent me into orbit. Do you know why it's called the Volunteers? Because back in the day when Mexico and Texas were fighting over land, Tennessee was the only state who sent volunteer soldiers down to Texas to stand at the Alamo. That's why it's called the Volunteers, because we're the Tennessee State Volunteers. Because remember the Alamo, Davy Crockett, and all that.
Yeah.
But it's fucking stupid, but that's the reason.
Well, I don't think that's dumb.
You just have to remember the Alamo.
The what?
The Alamo. Did you remember it?
The what?
Yeah, for real. Let's see. It's just frustrating to me. And oh yeah, send me to orbit. Which like shouldn't be an issue because Aggies are also a made up thing too. But like volunteers.
Are the Aggies the ones that have the yellers that wear overalls or whatever? Like, go Aggie, and they like do this thing.
I have no idea.
Oh my god! If you're
I have
all
no
right,
idea.
so if it's that same school, and you have the boy yellers or whatever their names are, you cannot make fun of any other sports team. I'm not a UT fan for the record.
I don't know the lore about this at all,
dude. All right, so these people, if you're on the YouTube channel, you're gonna see some shit. So they wear overalls and like stand on the track at games. It's like
at a baseball game
at
sports games. Okay,
they are from the school.
Gross.
They're like
college
cheerleaders,
boys.
but not cheerleaders have like talent. These weirdos
True.
are the strangest people I've ever met. We're gonna look this up afterwards.
Okay.
But they like do these like weird poses and like gig 'em Aggies or whatever. Yeah, I think I'm pretty certain it's them.
Yeah.
It is the dorkiest. It does not like pump you up. There's nothing historically about it that matters that is cool. It's just it's so dumb. So I'm sorry that you lost to Tennessee. I am. The Vols had swagger and you guys have those guys, so it was bound to happen.
Swagger, those guys.
Yeah. That being said, I wear overalls and yell a lot too, so.
That's fair. So do I. As I finish up this rant, I am just going to add that the Aggie coach was also very sneaky about going to UT and stuff. But the plus to all of this is that it's kind of fun to watch baseball, and UT basically tried to solicit our players by hiring our coaches, and all of our players have now said that they will be returning to the Aggies next year, which is great. Number 2, sparkling ice, the drink, because it's freaking amazing. 5 calories a bottle, are you kidding me?
Is that the one that's like the tall?
Yeah, tall skinnies.
But
they also kind of all taste the same, LOL.
I was going to say those look like they taste good, but...
They do taste good, but they taste similarly good.
Okay.
You know, it's like a sparkling lemonade, and then you order a sparkling pink lemonade. That's the same thing.
Oh, pink lemonade is just so much better, though.
So good. I have some in the fridge. We can crack that open later. And then the top of the pyramid is the Dallas Cowboy cheerleader show that just came out. Obsessed. I legit learned the whole Thunderstruck dance for my hyperfixation on this show, and I have zero regrets. And then the second one for the top is Hot Girl Summer, essentially because fuck men, and I love being tan and my abs are back.
Ooh.
Slay. Love that.
You jacked, bro? What's up?
This bit, yeah, she's a competitive dancer.
Oh, I wasn't.
She's got abs. She's working on her abs. There's a note in here about boys and stuff. And she's like, I'm just living my best life, and my abs came back, and it's amazing. That's her last, which is that's literally you. I'm just living my life, my abs came back, and life's amazing. That's literally you if I've ever heard of you ever.
Nah, bro, it's bulking season right now. My abs will be back this time next summer.
That's so annoying. But love this. Hot Girl Summer, but it has nothing to do with men. I'm just being hot.
Yeah, just go outside and be hot for yourself. Hell yeah.
Final notes. Amanda, I'm so proud of the fact that you were confident enough to talk about mental health on the pod and voice that you needed a break. As someone who was pre-break, we've had 2 pre-break listeners write in. It is so empowering to me as someone who also struggles with their mental health. Who doesn't? And as someone who isn't always confident enough to speak up. You should. Also, that 1-star review still makes me laugh to this day because you are none of those things. You're amazing and hilarious, and it's so funny, LOL. The whiny and self-righteous 1-star, the best. Song of the week is a song called Shout Out to My Ex by Little Mix. It's so empowering, and it's just a jump around to this song, and I love it so much. Hope you guys have an amazing week, and I love the podcast. It always brightens up my day. Love this person who wishes to remain anonymous. Bestie of the pod. Not a sponsor, but could be. Shrugging emoji.
I mean, you can send us money if you want to.
Dance Mom's Anon. Dance Mom's listener number 4. That was everything. Thank you for that email.
That's a great email.
I've had to ditch the blanket because it's too hot. I'm sweating my nuts off, so I have to ditch the blankie. I'll give you 1 dog for free. There it is.
A pup.
Don't ever say I didn't do anything for you. Eli, you ready to talk about your pyramid of life?
Yeah.
What's on the bottom of your pyramid, bruh?
Starting at the bottom, there is one very specific person at my job, and I will leave it at that.
Wow.
For legal reasons.
Sorry.
There's one person at my job.
The thought of you being mad at anybody really stresses me out because I'm like, what if it's me? I don't know why I automatically think that. Keep going.
Could not be less. Oh, no, that's it. I am not going to give any context clues. The people that know already know. The people that don't know.
I would like to remind you what happened last time someone called somebody out that they work with on the podcast.
That's what I'm saying.
You're like, because I'm not a dumbass, I'm not going to air out my personal business on the internet like you, Amanda.
Well, I might have actually, but now I'm realizing that's probably a bad idea.
Yeah, because, if someone had done that in theory, that would have been a really stupid thing to do.
Oh, that would have been dumb, yeah.
Hypothetically, if someone had done that. I'm going to take a page out of your book, bruh. I don't really have a thought about the pyramid this week. I'm kind of crushing it, low-key. So, I was trying to think... Like, I was really, really searching for one. I have a blister on my foot. That kind of sucks. I have stress eczema. That kind of sucks.
Stress.
I know. I was trying to make that work, too, and I couldn't do it. Strexema was as close as I could get, but then that sounded like schmegma, and I was like,
well,
okay.
No, strexema sounds like a type of, like a germ.
Strexema? Yeah. Or it weirdly also sounds like a medicine.
Strexema? Yeah.
Like a commercial. And everyone's like moving in slow-mo and like being happy.
They're doing Tai Chi in a field.
In a park. I have to burp. Oh my God.
Oh! Dear Lord.
Excuse me.
So should I do my middle or do you have two of something?
I don't have two of anything. I'm just straight up unprepared.
Yeah.
There's no like making up for it. I just don't know.
Okay, cool. I'm middle...
Rocking.
Of my pyramid is listening to like really old albums from like really old, like from my childhood.
Sure, yeah.
Which
for the 40s.
Yeah. Which like some of them still hold up so well. That like Hybrid Theory by Linkin Park is one of the greatest albums to ever come out in my lifetime. Speakerbox and Love Below, also kind of that same time period, which I already talked about, like the Outkast album. There are some that like they just still hit so hard. And then there are others where I'm like, what was I listening to? This is genuinely.
Who let me listen to this?
This is bad. This is very bad. And I sometimes wonder if now like the quality of like headphones or speakers or whatever has gotten better, and now I hear a lot of imperfections and like bad vocals or whatever.
Yes.
Whereas before, all the sound kind of blended together. And
That's definitely part of it. That is real.
So, yeah, listening to old albums can sometimes really bring back waves of, like, nostalgia or just like, oh, my God, this is so good. And other times it exposes you a little bit.
Yeah, real.
Whoops.
You're going to make fun of me, and that's a reality that I have come to terms with. That's fine with me. Here, I'll turn you all the way down. There we go. Okay, so you can crunch away. And so I can talk about what I want to talk about, and you can't respond because you're eating snacks. I listened to the album, the Justin Bieber album that the song Baby is on. That song is like not his greatest work, but there are other songs on that album that like they just like make my blood feel like Sunny D. Like I don't know how else to describe it. I feel There's a joke there somewhere. Sure. I feel electric with nostalgia and vibes, truly. And nothing like when I was 13, I had my first love. No, I'm kidding. That's a Justin Bieber lyric. But when I was in middle school, my life, I believed my life to be this very difficult, terrible, life fucking sucks because my parents want me to be in band. Like this whole like whatever thing. And it was so not that serious. And my biggest problem in life was like, I need to sit next to the boy I have a crush on in youth group so we can hold hands when it's time to pray at the end. Like, that was my, like, big life struggle. And just listening to that music just, like, really takes me back. Katy Perry's Teenage Dream.
Oh, sure, yeah.
That album is so fucking good, yeah.
I like going back and listening to the Now That's What I Call Music albums.
Yes.
Because some of that is barely music.
This shit hits. And the way someone on TikTok posted the other day that, like, I'm now realizing that 2014 is to me what the 80s are to my parents, where it's like, no, you don't get it. You weren't around during Arctic Monkeys 1975. You were not there. You were not on Tumblr.
Wolfgang
you
Amadeus
don't get
Phoenix
it.
Or
yes,
whatever it was,
you don't fucking get it. Yeah. Yeah, I feel that. But then also sometimes it's like, why are we listening to this? This shit was ass. Shit out of a butt. My middle of the pyramid is something that I know you can relate to because we've talked about it before. It's that in the summer, I get hit with such a wave of nostalgia for teaching. Not because it's like, oh, and if I was a teacher, I wouldn't be doing anything right now. No, if I was a teacher, I would be in a 3-month coma recovering from my 9-month-long job of teaching.
I've got friends that are going to set up their classrooms at the end of this week.
I've been getting TikToks about, like, when you get the call that the floor is waxed, and they are, like, grabbing their shit and running out the door. I'm like, ugh. And I also know this is, like, capitalism messaging. Like, when I was in Target the other day, I saw, like, you know, like the notebooks and the like, let's start the year off strong and like all this whatever. And I know that's the messaging that they want to promote. It's like not real. It's romanticized, like obviously.
Yeah.
But like, god dang. Every once in a while I'm like, I might fuck around. But then I'm like, I know as soon as the bell rings, like at the beginning of like the 3rd week of school, I'm going to be like, I want to quit because that's what I did when I was teaching. So I know it's not real. Like I get that. But like sometimes when I see like the back to school stuff, I'm like, fuck. It's nice Alexa played Justin Bieber's That Should Be Me.
Yeah.
Like that's really how I feel sometimes.
For sure.
What's the top of your pyramid, bruh?
Top of my pyramid this is going to be a dorky one, but it is.
Mine's dorky too.
It is this, so every other Monday we have like a team meeting at work that like my 5 direct reports, my co-manager and her 1 report.
The coworker that you're beefing with, are they there?
No.
We need to talk about work tea later.
We
about
can.
You.
No,
anyway,
it has nothing to do with my immediate team is fucking dope.
Oh, even better.
And so anyway, we're doing like so every other Monday we have a team meeting and I've started to do this thing where like, instead of just me sitting there and talking the whole time, why not let like a member of the team lead it each time? And so like if there are a few things like have to get said, cool, I'll get like a minute or 2 to do those. And then like they get to do like a team building activity or they can make announcements themselves, whatever. Like it's whatever they want it to be. And they really love that. And so anyway, today one of my employees, Trevor, he used to be like a camp counselor in a previous life. And he did this team building activity that was just like a lot of fun. It was like kind of a get to know you thing. And it was just like a lot of fun. And we laughed and learned a lot about each other and like connected about things. And it just went really well. And I had a great time.
I love that.
Yeah.
Any chance I get for something that humanizes my coworkers, I really appreciate. And not the ones that I get along with. I mean, like, the ones I, like, maybe don't ever see. Or, like, the ones I only see when I need something. Or, like, whatever. It's not this, like, humanizing the work bestie is, like, whatever. But, like, humanizing someone I don't really get along with. Or who I only interact with at a meeting randomly. Or, you know, we had a cookout for 4th of July. And it was company-wide. And, like, the guys in the back in our warehouse team, I don't really ever see them because I don't work in the warehouse. So it was cool to be like, oh my God, like, how's it going? I heard you were out on this job. How did it go? Like, that kind of stuff. I eat that shit up with a spoon. I love that.
For sure.
The top of my pyramid, is a book series you need to read. It's called A Darker Shade of Magic. Have you heard of this by V.E. Schwab?
I have not.
It is so fucking good. I have the box set you'll notice on this bookshelf. The white one is my second copy of the first book because I bought the box set because it looks cooler, and so I bought it. And I read the first one in a week, and I'm on the second one right now. If you're like sort of a fantasy reader person, but like maybe not fully in it like that, A Darker Shade of Magic is like the perfect happy medium. Because listen, my brain, smooth, marble-esque, some might say, rattling around at all hours. I can't retain the facts I need to retain to be a fantasy reader. I can't. If the book starts with the map, I'm out. I can't. It's too much. It's too much for me. I don't want to. I can't get into all that. I have realized over the last like year of reading, I am a character-driven person, not a world-driven person. So I don't give a shit about the city. I care about the people, not like the world itself. And some people are not like that, and that's fine. But A Darker Shade of Magic is the perfect mix of, like, the environment does matter, but if someone makes a comment about passing a river, you don't need to really remember that.
Sure.
It's not going to affect really anything substantive. And it's urban fantasy, which is really fun. So they live in the city of London, but there's magic. And
so it's Harry Potter.
No, the convention is that there's 4 Londons stacked on top of each other. 4 Londons in a trench coat, basically. And there's red London, gray London, white London, and black London. And they all have different relationships with magic, and it's altered the structure of their city. So they live in a city, but at different time periods and with a different relationship to magic. And it's awesome. And the best part is that the author on her own YouTube channel has posted like recaps of her books where she will like kind of skim through and be like, oh, and then we see, in part 4, chapter 2, this major plot point happens, major plot point. And then in this chapter, this thing happens. And then this one happens, and she's talking about it. And she wrote the book like 10 years ago. Like the series is like relatively
kind of
old.
reminding herself.
Yeah. And she, at one point, she
like,
goes,
oh yeah, this shit's dope.
Yeah. At one point she's talking about a character and she goes, oh, I forgot how young and naive and optimistic he is. And she goes, we will do so many things to him and he will not feel this way so soon. Like that kind of shit. Or at one point she says like, this is a stylistic choice that I made at 25 that I wouldn't make at 35. Like, This isn't how I would write this now, but this is how I wrote then. So, it's like fascinating. You would love it because I was talking about it with Neely and my sister, and Neely read Red Rising.
Yeah.
And she really liked it and she wants to read A Dark Shade of Magic. I really think you would fuck with it hard.
I'd be curious to hear her review of it.
Compared to Red Rising, yeah. Are you reading anything right now currently or no?
The 4th Red Rising.
Damn. You're still
Iron
working
Gold, baby.
Damn. You ready to get into the content of episode?
You bet your bottom dollar I am.
Damn. I don't know if any of the words I said were any of the words I meant to say just now. I was like, you ready to get into tennis now? And you were like, woo. Like, okay, great.
I just bring the enthusiasm.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Did you love the TikTok I made? Or did you think that was dumb?
The one you posted on Instagram?
Yes.
Saturday Night TikTok? Yes. I thought it was funny.
Okay, good. I was like, I don't think this is clowning on Eli too hard.
No, it's okay.
Because I didn't say you were stupid. I said you were happy to be here.
I am happy to be
That's true.
here. And that is about the internal dialogue that I've got going on.
Blah, blah, blah. She goes, proper name, place name, backstory stuff.
Yeah.
I was like, that's Eli. Okay. We're talking about Season 3, Episode 35, Diva Las Vegas, or Season 3, Episode 39, if you're watching on Hulu, inexplicably. This week we're starting in Las Vegas. You guessed it.
Addison was just in Las Vegas, actually, like a couple hours ago.
Slay.
She just landed safely. She'll be gone by then in Utah.
Love that for her. She texted me the other day, and she was like, I need the link. Well, she texted me when she thought that I had been to the secret beach without her. And I was like, I have not been, but I know where it is. And she was like, oh, okay, thank God. And then we were talking about her trip to North Dakota?
Yeah,
North Dakota. We were talking about that for a little bit. It's like, we're friends. You're not going to the secret beach. You're a boy.
I want to go.
Doesn't matter. I don't make the rules.
You're literally making that rule.
You don't have any proof of that. We're starting this week in Las Vegas. I think it's regionals week because we're already talking about nationals. So I think this is regionals. We don't really say we are at regionals ever. We just keep saying next week is nationals.
Yeah.
Which doesn't really matter, but it is kind of annoying to me personally. Abby says the moms are about to walk into the pyramid ready to attack her, which is so much drama.
Before she even says that, it's doing like the collection of shots of Las Vegas.
The B-roll.
And she says, we're in Las Vegas, and here you either hit the jackpot or you lose. Well, there are a lot of in-betweens, Abby, actually.
Yeah, but it's not to her. It's either the jackpot or you're a big fat idiot.
Yeah,
dumb
first
loser.
place or last place.
Yeah, basically. Second place is always the first to lose and all that good stuff. The moms are saying that they and the girls just like have some questions about Abby's investment, her attendance, all that kind of stuff.
They were very peaceful at first.
Mm-hmm. At first. And Abby says that basically she just doesn't want to be in a position to lose her cool anymore.
Which, hold
Since
on.
when?
So this was like one of the most mature things that Abby has ever said. She's like, listen, I know how I react. I just don't want to put myself in a position where I'm going to react like that. That is not as mature as saying my behavior is inexcusable and I should change it.
It's also not an apology, which it should be.
No, there are strains of apology within it. But she's just like, listen, I don't like the way that I behave, so I'm going to not put myself in those situations.
But I can't tell if that's because of Kelly or because of Kathy.
She's blaming it on, she says several things.
Because she's also like, Kathy is part of this problem too.
Yeah.
Because we see footage from the water and the person stuff.
Yeah, she is. I was implying that, like, Kathy's crazy, the moms are crazy, whatever. It was just kind of
just all bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kelly says, like, there's a double standard for you because I did what you did by standing up in the aisle and not moving, and you were doing kind of the same thing by sitting and not moving. So
you're both being childish.
Yeah, and Abby basically is like, yeah, it's a double standard because it's the Abby Lee Dance Company,
yeah,
bitch.
she shows her shirt. She's like, I run this place, which honestly, a little bit of a fair point.
But not out in public like that. The thing
that
at the
I agree.
seat, that was crazy.
I'm operating in the world of Abby Lee Miller.
Sure.
And, like, that is a true statement.
Sure.
It is her thing. Y'all better fall in line.
And she says she doesn't really owe anyone an explanation, which is also not false. No grown-ass adult really owes an explanation of their behavior that often. I don't know. It's convoluted. It's like if you squint with one eye and basically shut the other and tilt your head a little bit, you can understand why Abby's logic makes sense.
To her.
To her. Yeah.
That's the qualifier.
Yeah. The girls come in for the pyramid. Abby's talking about the gravity of being in Vegas and how it's the dance capital of the world, even though it's not.
It's a place full of
entertainment. It is an entertainment hub for sure. But like, we just hear this all the time.
She also, or Holly asks, how, like, Abby, how are you making the pyramid when you haven't been here for 2 weeks?
Yeah. And Abby says it's because she saw the score sheet. She's like, I based it off the score sheets that we get from every competition. And she was in a few rehearsals. And Holly's like, okay. She's not buying it. Holly's always not buying it.
Yeah, she's just like, whatever, we need to focus on winning. Also, she probably knows this is about to be the most balanced pyramid that we've gotten.
That's true. It's backed up by facts and logic.
Yeah, because she's like, Abby can't just dunk on the kids or hate on the moms. She's had no chance to have negative interactions with anyone, so she has to go by scores and placements. That's it.
Right. It can't be subjective because she wasn't here.
Yep.
Okay, the bottom of the pyramid of children is Paige, obviously.
Classic.
She needs better technique.
When it showed that Paige was at the bottom, I almost out loud was just like, I bet I can guess who's second from the bottom.
Yeah, and then she was like, Brooke. Like, it took almost no time between the two.
Yeah, of course.
Brooke got fourth last time she did a solo, and Kelly's like, well, it's because of the choreography that she got fourth. Like, maybe it's that. And Abby's like, that's a lame excuse. You're always blaming the choreography.
Yeah, so fix it.
Yeah, and also, duh, we're talking about a dance, so you judge it based on the choreography and the choreography's execution. And if you give her shit out of a butt choreography, then it's just gonna be like what
shit out of a butt.
It's shit butt ass. Like, I don't know what to tell you. The next person. Oh no, wait, sorry. The next person is Nia.
Yeah.
And she's like, I just really want you to want it. And she's like, her mind wants it, but her body doesn't. And it's just, she says, keep doing what you're doing. Keep being on the bottom. I don't understand.
No, this is actually
that make sense.
I'm going to disagree with you a little bit. I viewed this as actual good feedback. She gives it in a clunky way. But she says, like...
Clunky.
I've told kids this before. This same type of feedback where, you clearly understand what's supposed to be happening right now. Your brain understands the choreography, how your body is supposed to move. Your body just won't quite cooperate 100% yet.
Sure.
So she's like, you understand it. Keep forcing your body to do the exact thing that you want it to do. And eventually, it's going to click and it's going to become natural for your body to do this thing. It's the same thing with playing traditional grip on a snare drum.
Sure.
It's like, I understand how I can hold a stick like this and rotate my wrist. Like, I watch people do it all the time. That is an insane thing to learn. It is not natural at all. But you keep doing it so much, you keep practicing the exact technique, make your body match up with what your brain knows it's supposed to be doing, and eventually it becomes natural.
Sure.
I just said it fucking way better than Abby did, but that's what she's getting at.
Yeah.
So she's like, Nia, I can tell you're trying really hard. You're smart and you understand it. Yeah. It's going to click for you, I promise.
Yeah.
That's what she's saying.
I felt that way in doing color guard. there were like moves and like tosses and stuff with flags that like did not make sense. And I remember my instructor Amber saying like, I know that you don't understand, or like it's difficult to conceptualize like when you like just go like this, that this motion will send the flag up into the air because it doesn't feel like it because you're just opening your hand. But just see what happens if you rotate, 270 and just open your hand and just see how the momentum picks up. And she was right.
Yeah.
But it is that like mind body disconnect. But what Nia is given is keep doing what you're doing, which Abby openly is like, what you do sucks.
I think she means the process.
I think she does too, but
keep going through the process you're going through.
Yeah.
So I heard it differently.
Kendall is next because she's inconsistent and she's better in class than she is on stage, which is an actual piece of good criticism. And Abby's
well, sort of. It's half the battle. It's
right.
saying this is what's wrong, and it's a good identification. But
now,
how do I fix it? What do I do with that?
Yeah. And Abby says she doesn't know what she's going to do with her for nationals. And Jill is like, well, because of that, she should get more solos.
Jill, every time.
Okay, Jill. There are a couple of moments where Jill leaves reality and goes to live on the island of Delulu. We'll get there, but this is the first of many.
Yes.
The middle, Mackenzie, she's not here this week because she makes too many careless mistakes, and she needs to learn that it doesn't matter that Maddie is her sister. Brutal.
Something
brutal.
coattails something.
Yeah, really brutal. Asia is next. She won her last solo and she's improving. So she's next. And then Maddie. Maddie needs to set her goals higher.
So here's what Abby
higher. How's higher than first place?
Well, she says, Maddie, you could be on top every week. We know you put her there.
Girl, you make the pyramid.
Yeah, whatever, dude.
What?
I think she just wanted to highlight Chloe because Chloe like legitimately accomplished something, and Maddie was
Chloe
just,
like beat the Candy Apples, like the student
one
that they really thought was going to do the best.
Yeah,
and then Chloe beat them, so it's like whatever.
By 0.3 apparently. I said it was 0.2 last week.
But it's good because Abby says by 0.3 of a point, and then Christy rolls her eyes, and then Abby says, but you know what? It could have been by 0.1 of a point, and it wouldn't have mattered because you still would have beat them.
Oh, yeah.
Like, okay, great. Because I thought she was going to say it could have been more, and that was going to be really annoying. But it's true. It doesn't matter the margin at a certain point. You beat the other person. Yeah.
It's a dub.
Yeah. This week we're going to Powerhouse dance competition. Asia gets a solo and Kendall gets a solo. Abby says that Asia is like her best shot for nationals. And Kendall, Abby says that this is Kendall's last chance to prove if she can do a solo.
Well, obviously.
Jill leaves reality and Jill says that she's like, I know Kendall is so good. She is so talented, and she could do a solo, and honestly, she could probably beat the other kids at nationals. Jill, sweetie, I love that level of hope and optimism. It's admirable, truly. Yeah. I don't know if other people feel that way.
I'm certain no one does, actually.
I have in my notes, girl, be for real.
You need to take those thoughts. You need to keep them to yourself. Hide them in your fedora.
Yeah, keep them in your heart and your fuck-ass fedora. And shut the hell up.
And never talk about them again.
Yeah. The Highland girls are getting solos. Brooke is a national champion, and so she's like, oh, you need to, bone up because you're about to, have to defend your title. But Christy smells a stunt because she's like, well, Chloe won last week and is at the top of the pyramid and doesn't have a solo. That kind of sucks.
I think that's because Abby has decided, like, Chloe's dancing at nationals, clearly.
And in theory, they've brought this up before. They only get 4 non-group numbers.
And it's going to be Maddie and Chloe. It just is.
For the plot and for like their statistical benefit.
Sake.
Yeah. Abby tells the Highland girls that no one wants to work with them, especially at the Abby Lee Dance Company, which is like, I don't know what that means.
Yeah.
No teachers want to work with you, especially at the Abby Lee Dance Company.
I think she's playing off of the fact that Gia didn't want to teach last week because Abby literally said, if you teach them a solo, I'll fucking
fire
kill you.
Yeah. It's on site. A laser will appear and it will be curtains for you.
Done.
Yeah, and so she's outsourcing their choreography to another choreographer who comes in.
Right, which, I mean, cool. A chance to learn from someone new, especially someone who, we'll find out, clearly seems rather qualified.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's always fine.
This like you
I
with
cannot
this
stop.
knot is crazy.
I can't. I need to. I would have
Do you
been
want
hit the camera.
Do you want the dinosaur?
No.
Have you picked that dinosaur up before?
Yeah.
The weighted dinosaur?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's nice.
I'm gonna start playing. I need to play with something.
You can hold that if you want
No,
to.
I keep bouncing.
It was
around.
just
It's too
funny.
much. It's too much. It's too much. Now I got the little fuzzy nipple pillow.
It's just too
and
much.
It's too much.
Too much. The group number is about historical Las Vegas. We're doing something that's called a number that's based around a group that's called the Rat Pack, which was like a group of
Dean Martin, Sammy Davis.
yeah, it's like a group of
Frank
musicians,
Sinatra.
yeah, that all were kind of like around Las Vegas.
They were quite good.
But they call do you know who Charlie XCX is?
I'm aware of this person.
Okay.
You talked about them. At
Yes,
some point.
I shouted out one of her songs. So she just put out an album that's called Brat. Like that's just the name of the album. It's just like a green rectangle for the album art and the word brat, and it's neon green. And people will like on the internet talk about it being a brat summer because it's like listening to this music. It came out at the beginning of the summer, brat summer, whatever.
Don't have a brat summer.
But they talk about this number is called the Brat Pack.
That's funny.
And I was like, Abby's having a brat summer. Obviously.
Also, these kids are young and
there's
like,
a song that's
at a bratty age, I guess you could say.
Yeah. There's a song on that album that's called Apple, and it's about generational trauma, and obviously
Like the apple doesn't fall far from the tree.
yes, so I think the apple's rotten right to the core, from all the things that's happened from all the other apples before. So it's like, an apple tree being poisoned, and people are posting that song over edits of Kathy, which is really funny.
Man, you are really in the Dance Moms TikTok.
Yeah, well, I'm on the internet. I'm a girl and I'm on the internet. That's really kind of it.
That's true.
Why is this mic stand like such a piece of literal poop? This sucks.
Poop from a butt.
This is shit from a butt. It sucks, dude.
Oh,
like, God. I cannot, crank that shit any harder.
You know who we need to call is
the
Soulja
Ghostbuster.
Boy.
Oh, yeah.
The Ghostbusters.
I don't know. You said who you were going to call. And I was like, Ghostbusters, obviously.
No, you said we need to crank that.
Yeah, I need to crank it harder, the Soulja Boy. Yeah, for sure.
You.
For sure. So yes, we're doing a number called Brat Pack because it's a brat summer.
Yeah, that's funny.
Asia is she says swinging. Swinging is like being an understudy. And then she's also going to do a solo. Group rehearsal time. Need to be cool this time. Oh,
yeah. She says they need to be cool.
Yes.
Slick. Have some swag.
Great. I love that. I have this note later on. I'm so glad that. Oh no, wait. I have it right now. I'm glad that we're going the Rat Pack direction of Las Vegas. I thought we were going to do Showgirls.
Haven't we done that already?
Yes, and there was an episode of Showgirls that was deleted infamously because the girls were supposed to appear naked. I thought you were on the episode where we talked about
the
this.
episode of Dance Moms, you mean?
Yes, there's a lost episode of Dance Moms that was on TV, but it's never resurfaced. It's never been available for streaming. You can't find it anywhere anymore.
I wonder why.
Okay, before I was so rudely interrupted by the camera's battery dying, I was saying that I'm glad that we're going in this direction of the Brat Pack and not Vegas Showgirl, because there was an episode of Dance Moms that's lost to time that the internet will never see, because Lifetime will make sure of it. Excuse me. And it's at the beginning of season 2, maybe season 2, episode 11, I think is what it is. And they're supposed to be covered by fans, and they're supposed to go this and be in nude bodysuits, to be naked Vegas showgirls at the age of 9 and 10.
That's insane.
Yeah, and so Lifetime aired it, and then people were like, "Are you fucking kidding me? This is insane." And then took it down, and it's nowhere to be seen or heard from.
I have to wonder what people in that audience were thinking.
Yeah, I have no idea. I mean,
that is shocking.
That's insane. And for you as an adult to do that to children who trust you is fucking crazy. So all that to say, I'm glad we're going in the Brat Pack direction and not Vegas Showgirl direction.
Yeah. Also, it's something different.
Yeah.
It's unique. It's fun.
Yeah. When everybody thinks about Vegas, they're not usually thinking about the Rat Pack. They're usually thinking about casinos, showgirls, that kind of thing. So it's cool to go in the opposite direction. Abby's telling them not to go to the pool. She's like, don't have any fun. Don't go into the sunlight. Don't swim at the pool with your friends. Be fucking miserable and get an ice cold water and go to bed. You know, it's kind of funny. Kelly gets a call from Brooke's music producer saying that there are opportunities for her to be on a local news station.
Amazing.
And Kelly's like, well, it kind of makes me nervous because she's going to have to miss practice. And then we get a commercial and then we come back. And Ricky is working on Paige's solo. That's just, the title of the solo is just the word one. I don't really know how that ties into anything, but that's what it is.
Actually, about that,
tell me,
Kelly and Brooke, is that we didn't get the conversation of Kelly telling Abby, hey, we have to miss rehearsal.
Yeah,
I'm curious
we
to
never
know,
see that.
I'm curious to know what that would have looked like, because, like, Abby hates the Highlands, and she's like, you're missing a rehearsal the week before Nationals, I'll slit your throat. But also, the thing that she loves the most is being attached to fame.
Yes.
And so if now Brooke has a chance to, like, oh, she's going, like, on the news to promote it out, like, that is real. That is a thing that Abby values. And so I guess the conversation, Kelly was like, listen, we got this opportunity. And Abby was like, oh, okay, that sounds great.
Yeah.
Good for you guys.
Abby has been pretty vocal about her support for Brooke's music career in the past. So, and like she said, like when they were doing their recital, she was like, Brooke was going to perform her song and now she can't, you know. She's been pretty, like, vocally supportive about Brooke's music career. So I bet the reason why we didn't get it is because Abby was like, all right, sounds good.
Yeah, that's awesome. Congrats.
Yeah. And they were like, damn, that's it? And she's like, I don't care.
She's like, ham it up. And Abby's like,
she's like, no, I'm busy.
I want this.
Yeah. Ricky comes in and starts working with Paige on her solo called One. He knows what's going on. He knows what's good. Ricky is turning the party, understands choreography, really looks like he knows what he's doing. Abby is there in the room watching, even though she just said that no one wants to work with her. Confusion abounds. Abby also says that Ricky needs to do... So, this is a kind of a through line in my notes. We get this comment at this point where Abby tells Ricky that he needs to step it up because her costume is going to be like $500.
Yeah.
It will come back later in like seemingly out of context comment, but just put a pin in that for now. Paige goes and sees the moms and they're like, how's it going? And her mom calls her Peanut. It's so sweet. How's it going, Peanut? And she's like, it's really nice to have someone say, good job, Paige, which is such a fucking low bar for a teacher educator. And then we get a bunch of flashbacks of all the vile shit that Abby has said to Paige over time.
Yeah.
And Kelly's like, yeah, I don't remember the last time that Paige ever smiled with Abby. Like, straight up. I don't remember the last time that happened, which is so sad. Then we see Brooke also dancing with Ricky, and Abby says in her talking head that this number is like a technical challenge for Brooke, but that it's probably going to be, you know, like good for her in the long run. And Ricky is like talking to Brooke, and he's like, I feel like I'm making you like nervous. Like, are you okay? And then in her talking head, she's like, I just have a lot going on this week. I have a solo, I have a group number, and I'm supposed to be on TV, on the news, talking about my album. And I'm just nervous, and it's just kind of a lot.
Yeah.
And she's like, she says, it's not Ricky who's making me nervous.
Yeah.
It's like Abby and like literally everything else with nationals and
there's
whatever.
There's a lot of pressure for her.
Yeah. We see Asia's solo rehearsal. We see maybe 5 seconds because she crushes it, so there's nothing really to cover.
Yeah, there is no one who goes full out like Asia does.
I don't know how she does it. It's like, yeah, there's no one else who's doing it like her. It's crazy. It's wild. She's doing a number about the Pink Flamingo, which is like a club, ? A casino?
The Flamingo's a hotel.
A hotel? Okay. Yeah. She's doing a Pink Flamingo number. Abby says she wants her to step out onto the stage like she owns the strip. That's an insane thing to say to a child. And that's about all we get from that little moment.
Well, I don't know. It's just like, this is my place. It's like, it's the same comment that was being made to Brooke.
The Las Vegas Strip?
Yeah.
That's weird.
I mean, it's a happening place.
Okay, Grandpa. Kelly and Brooke they're in the limo going to talk to the local news. Brooke is nervous.
She
Boots.
Is frozen.
Yeah, staring out the window like nervous.
And in her talking head, she's like, when I'm nervous, I don't tend to move very much. And then it cuts back to her still just frozen in time.
In the same spot.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's just locking down.
Kelly's being goofy and also
she's like trying to be like, oh, oh yeah, and Brooke says in her talking head that she's like, I'm just afraid my mom's gonna say something stupid. And then she says to her mom, she's like, just don't say anything weird. And she's like, I'm not gonna say anything weird. And it's like, okay. The local news set could not be any more 2014 if it tried. It's crazy. The set is wild. The music video that we see for 30 seconds is a crime.
She's staring into the camera.
It's like a fisheye lens right here.
And she's just staring into the camera. And the lighting
crime.
Is bad. She's just like...
crime with her braces and her lip gloss.
Yeah.
A crime against the arts, truly.
They should have contacted Disney for some tips.
Yeah. And then there's
if anyone knows how to exploit children, it's
Disney. Very true. And then there's just a bunch of bland talking points about, like, tell us about how great music is. And she's like, it's cool to be doing something that's not just dance. And then we get a commercial. We come back from...
She did pretty well, though.
I thought she did, too. For 13, 14...
She's 15. But when
that's right.
Yeah,
Fuck, she's getting old.
A couple times, like, gets asked the question, and she does this anchoring thing. She, like, glances at her mom real quick as she's starting the first, like, 2 words of answering.
Like,
just, like, I got this, Mom. And then, like...
Yeah.
Or, like, looking to her for just, like a little support.
In.
And Kelly just real quick, like, does that little nod thing. It was really nice to see. That was a great, like, mom-daughter moment.
But she doesn't, like, freak out. She doesn't, that we see, say anything embarrassing.
Yeah.
It's just like a normal little bit. Okay, we go to commercial, we come back. We see Paige in her, like, solo rehearsal. Paige is, like, going in to rehearse with Ricky, but Abby is there, and Paige is really nervous, and Kelly says it's really hard to watch her be so nervous. And Paige is like, well, I'm only here because of her friends. Oh, wait. Am I skipping something?
You did, yes.
The moms are out to lunch.
Yes.
Right?
No.
Or they're just, like, talking, and Paige, like, appears and then runs off. And Kelly says to the other moms, it's just really hard to watch Paige be so nervous.
Yes, and it's like a 10-second scene. It's nothing.
Well, I thought it was funny because she says, like, yeah, Paige just says that she's only here because of her friends, and I always tell her, like, you can find new friends, and all the moms are like, no!
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Please, like, stay, you can't just leave us. And then that's, like, pretty much something. I just thought it was cute. They all were like, no!
Yeah, don't you dare.
Don't leave. Yeah, if you leave, we'll fall apart.
Yeah, well, if you leave, Abby's going to bully one of the other ones of us.
Yeah, true. And then we see Kendall's solo rehearsal, and the wind knocked out of my sails when Abby says she's doing an Egyptian princess number.
Yeah.
Head lolling back in distress and anxiety. Great.
Yeah.
Love that. And Abby says that she needs to look spooky, which is a very problematic thing to say.
A mummy?
Like, okay, what do you mean that Egyptian looks spooky? That's crazy. And then Abby says that this is Kendall's chance to shine, with Chloe not being in the solo spotlight, or Maddie. Like,
yeah.
Now's your time, girly. Group solo exercise where, like, they're doing the group number, and Abby wants everybody to run it by themselves for everyone else.
Only do your part.
Now, listen.
You say your thoughts, and then I will say mine.
Okay, we used to do this.
Yeah.
In college. We used to do this in college. Did not used to do this when I was in middle school, because public shame in middle school is really difficult. But in college, when I was in college choir and college theater and singing was involved, we would isolate the section of the room where something was going awry, and we would go down the line. You do it. Now you do it. Now you do it. And then it'd be like, okay, this is what you need to fix because you're the problem. You're the one who's doing it wrong. For a either grown adult or almost adult, that's one thing. For this environment, it's not a healthy enough environment for this to be happening. And no matter what the age of the people in the environment has to be supportive. It has to be like a process-oriented, growth-oriented space. It worked for me in college because I was old enough to understand the process. I was like, a college kid, new adult, young adult. And it was in a space that was a rehearsal space that was growth-centered and growth-oriented. And I knew the people in the other people in the room wanted me to succeed. And we weren't, like, talking shit about the person who was fucking up. It was like, we just need to isolate the problem. So I think there is an environment and an age demographic wherein this exercise can be effective. I know actually it's not this environment. What were you going to say?
So I was going to say we did this in high school. Mm-hmm. And I think it's a phenomenal teaching technique, especially with like bigger groups. Yeah. Because it's so hard to hear like each individual performer. It's like, no, I got to hear everyone separately. I also need to know that you know how to move around on the field without like watching the person next to you. Mm-hmm. Like your section leader is 3 people down and you're just looking at that person out of the corner of your eye the entire time and just moving when they move. No. I need to know that you are taking initiative, that you know where transitions are. I need to know that you know how to play this music. And man, did that expose some kids. And they're like, oh, I can't just like hide in the sound of 120 people. I need to know my shit, right?
Yeah.
I think that it's a really good teaching technique. I think that if you present it to kids this young as a supportive thing like to do, I think it's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
But you're right. This is
just not the environment.
I think that like the kids could just like, not that it's this simple, but if they just think about like, oh, my friends get to watch me dance. I get to show off for my friends.
If she framed it that way, then maybe they would think that way. But she doesn't frame it that way. She frames it as like public shaming.
Maybe.
Or like,
or chance to fuck up.
You are the idiot. You know what I mean?
I think it's more just like, here's your chance. Don't mess up. And it's just like, it's supposed to put a lot of pressure on them, which... Again, I will also say,
in theory,
being able to deal with pressure is a skill, one that Kendall lacks, it seems.
True.
So there is that too.
But if you don't have a supportive team, but like your band director was a hard ass but cared.
Well, I also did this myself.
Right, and you also a hard ass and also care. Abby is not that girl. We shockingly will see a humanizing moment of hers later on in this episode.
Yeah.
But, like, baseline, this isn't who she is. The supportive, like, tough love, that's not who she is. Mm-hmm. She's trying to find you to make you feel embarrassed and stupid. Not, I'm trying to identify where the problem areas are so that we can address them. It's who needs to be bullied into being better, which is not the move when you're a single-aged child. Single-digit age child.
That doesn't work for anyone besides, like, professional athletes, basically.
For real. Abby, like, thinks... So Paige is saying that, like, I really like when Ricky does my routine because... Or when Ricky's in there helping us because he doesn't scream. And Abby does, so I don't really live, laugh, love this. And Abby is pointing out that Paige is doing something wrong. And she says, you need to get your act together. You're 12 years old.
Hilarious.
The irony in that statement is insane.
Yeah.
Kelly is crying. It's just like, it kind of just dissolves into like this whole mess. And Kelly says in her talking head that the only reason why she stays is because of the connection that Abby has with her girls. And there's an investment there emotionally. And Kelly tells Paige that they need to leave. And Paige is like, I don't really want to leave. The only thing I don't like here is Abby.
So, Paige leaves the room because she says she can't breathe.
She's having an anxiety attack.
Yeah, Kelly goes out, which, by the way, have you seen Inside Out 2?
No, I'm going to see for my birthday.
Brother.
Am I going to cry, probably?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course you are.
Yeah, I cry a lot.
Yeah, I cried in the first one.
Did you cry in the second one?
Yeah,
no.
I cried in both of them.
You did? You cried in the second one?
Yes.
That's crazy. I don't think I've ever seen you cry.
I only cry during, like, movies and music. I don't cry at, like, real things.
I don't have access to my emotions when it's relevant.
Well, it's a defense mechanism. I think that, not to get into a therapy session, but, like, that I'm willing to, like, be vulnerable when I know it's not real and there are no consequences for me showing vulnerability.
I'm so jealous of that.
Well, because when I was vulnerable in real life, I got my ass beat.
That's actually true. Yeah, let me back my shit up really quick. Yeah. I just feel like I cry very easily.
Yes.
And I feel like when I start crying, people don't take me seriously anymore because it's like, here she goes again. She's crying.
You want to know what's funny?
What?
When I, like, cry, that's sometimes the only time that anyone has ever taken me seriously.
But because you don't do it. I do it all the time.
No, well,
you know what I mean?
They just think that I don't, like, feel things because I'm not crying.
Fair.
And so, like, when I do cry and people are like, oh, my gosh, I didn't know you felt that way. I've been telling you for this whole fucking time.
Now they didn't care until
these crocodile tears, and now you believe me? Like, fuck you.
Do you know what the difference between a crocodile and an alligator is?
An alligator will see you later, and a crocodile will see you after a while.
Yeah.
Hell yeah,
I love that joke. We go to a commercial. We come back from the commercial. We're loading into the green room, kind of like, we have all the suitcases and the mirrors and, the fans and whatever. Abby was at a different hotel than everybody else, and she did not ride in with him. Kind of a power move. Kind of love that. And then she walks in, and because at first they're like, "Where's Abby? Is she gonna come?" And then she walks in, and it's like a whole thing.
There's no drama whatsoever.
No, she's like, "Hi,
is Abby gone again?"
Yeah.
No, she's
no,
here. Okay.
Yeah. And then we see all the girls trying on their costumes, and they come out, and all moms are like, "Ooh,
it's like
so
an 80s montage.
What? Yeah,
like trying on outfits in a department store.
Ricky sees Paige putting on her costume, and he goes, "Work." Like, as Bestie of the Pod Jake would say, gay person alert.
Yes.
Gay person alert. He's like, work. Kendall's getting nervous about her solo, and Jill is like in the hallway with her. She's like, girl, chill
Lock
out.
it in.
Yeah, you need to focus.
Well, she also says, where'd my note go? Oh, Jill says, do it for you. Don't do it for Abby.
I don't even have... Yes, but also, in order to survive, you have to do it for Abby.
I think
It's
in this
both.
very moment, Kendall can kind of like forget what's
Fair.
happening. I'm just going to enjoy doing this dance.
Just to make it through.
I think it's good advice.
Good at voice. Good at voice.
It's good advice.
It's good at
Okay.
voice. As she's dancing, Abby's doing that thing where she's like, look at them. Look at them. Like, telling Kendall to look at the judges, because one of her big complaints about Kendall is that she doesn't look at the judges enough and doesn't connect with the judges, like with her facial expressions and stuff. It's annoying. And then Abby in her talking head says that Kendall started out strong and immediately went downhill.
Yeah.
And she says that she's too busy focusing on the technicality of doing the choreography to like fully integrate her facial expressions and like give a performance.
She can't perform.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Asia's next. The dance is a little weird to me because she's walking and then doing a bunch of really cool turns and then like strutting and doing a bunch of cool turns and then walking again, turning. It's like, feels kind of disjointed, but whatever.
I just saw her walk off, and my note was, this kid just like oozes confidence.
It's crazy.
She's
and then did
gonna
you see
be-
that they did a talking head right after she walked off? Did you see that?
Maybe.
And she's like fully backstage, live in living color, not like against the green screen.
Oh, wasn't a talk? I see what you're
They're just
saying.
like, how did you do kind of thing. And she's like, I think I did really well. And there's nothing that I can improve except my feet.
She's like, my feet could be a little better, but
Yeah.
that kid's going to be a stud. If she like really keeps at it,
Crazy.
keeps this level of passion, she's going to be a stud dancer.
And then, and the note that they have the talking head thing like right off stage is just like it's just the opposite of what they normally do where they sit down with them. It's just weird.
They do the talking heads at a later date.
Right. But
This
this one
was
they're like,
in
do
the
it right
moment.
now. I wonder if she had another job booked, and they're like, we can only get her for today. We have to ask her how she feels right now. Brooke is next. Slay. Abby says that she thinks that she doesn't know what Ricky is capable. What? No, that Ricky doesn't know what Brooke is capable of, which I don't really know what that means. But she says it. She's like, I just don't think that Ricky knows what she's capable of. What, like murder? Like, what do you mean what she's capable of? Why does he care about that? He's only here for 1 week. I don't know. Kelly says that she's nervous for Paige to perform. She's like, listen, we've had a long week with this girl. She's having anxiety, boots the house down. She just wants to hang out with her friends. Everything is really stressful. Everything's really frustrating for her. Ricky tells Paige backstage to trust herself. Great advice for a performer. Great advice. You either know it by now or you don't.
Yeah.
And you know it because you just ran it in the green room. Trust yourself. Trust that you know it and do what you know that you're going to be able to do.
I said the exact same thing.
Excellent performance advice.
Yeah, Ricky knows his shit, dude.
Yeah.
Like him.
But then Paige, because she's so nervous and anxious and such a fucking wreck, she gets out on stage and you can see it in her face. There's a moment where she slightly hesitates and her brain and her body shut down and she forgets and she walks off stage.
So again, I never watched the dances, but as I was skipping through, I heard the audience go, "Aw."
Yeah.
And the dance I only had to skip twice and it was over. I was like, hold on. And so I went back and watched and I was just like, oh boy.
You can see it register in her face and it's so sad. And Abby says in her talking head that this is all Kelly's fault because Paige is never in class.
Fucking of course.
Of course. Commercial. We come back. The whole team has like squatted up around Paige and they're like comforting her and they're like, it's okay. But then Kelly is like, I can't believe, is crying. And she's talking to the other girls and she's like, all of us are crazy for sticking around, you know, like whatever. It's like, Kelly, you are the adult. Yeah. These are baby children.
Let's not do this.
Let's not do this right now. This is not appropriate.
Abby, on her way out of the audience, is telling other people in the audience, like, oh, I didn't choreograph that dance.
I just want everyone to know that I would never choreograph that. I would never put a child out on stage like that.
The crazy thing,
girl,
that like type of comment is the same person as the bottom of my pyramid.
We're going to have to talk about that later.
Lots of overlap.
We're going to have to talk about that later. Also, yes, you would put a child out on stage like that. You were in her rehearsals. You saw how difficult that
literally your
dance was. Yeah. So you would do that because you did.
Yeah.
In the green room, Kelly is asking Abby if her girls are in the group dance. She's like, just want to do a temp check on where you stand with Paige. And Abby says, like, Kelly, this is not about your girls. This is about you. There's some funky editing in here. We just get like fragment sentences that don't really make sense with one another.
Yeah.
And that's like it. It's very weird.
Well, Abby screams like, I'm the best thing for Paige. And Kelly's like,
I am the best thing for Paige.
And Kelly says, well, Paige is terrified of you. And Abby says, well, you're the one who's driving a wedge between the kid or whatever. And Kelly's like, I would literally never do that. Starts crying. And the crazy thing here, after they're done screaming at each other, Kelly has her head in her hands and is crying. And Abby has to like turn away because she started crying.
She starts crying.
She like really realized like Kelly fucking got her.
Yeah. Kelly, I think, strikes, like hits a chord with Abby that like, you are actively disintegrating your relationship with my child when you don't invest time in them. And it's not a trophy thing. It's not a winning thing. It's like a relationship thing. Yes. And that, I think, and Abby says, understood, I am hearing you. Yeah. Which is wild. Wild. Never heard her say that before. Yeah. Understood, I'm hearing you.
And so, I think...
And Abby says when she sees Kelly crying, she sees her own student because she used to teach Kelly.
Yeah, and I think, I think that's a large part of it. I think also... Kelly was acting from a place of hurt, like you are hurting my child, as opposed to anger. That's why Abby like very rarely listens to Christy because Christy gets mad.
Yeah.
Kelly has gotten mad and Abby's brushed her off, but now she's like, I'm legitimately hurt. I'm breaking.
I don't know what to do. Yeah.
And Abby, somewhere in that fucking black heart of hers, there was like a little bit of empathy, and we saw it right there.
Yeah. Yeah. The girls are all getting ready for the group. Paige is still in the group. Abby pulls Paige aside and she says that the number that she had for her was better. Okay. To my previous comment about Abby saying that she had she was like, well, the costume that I have for her is $500. So you need to put more effort into it. The costume that Paige wore on the stage, that was not no $500 costume. That's not true. Because she says it's feathers, it's a showgirl can dancer costume. Mm-hmm. That's not what we saw. So I think Abby had a can dancer number prepared for Paige and for some reason went with someone else. And is saying in this moment, I had something else for you. I would not have done that to you. Kind of saying without saying, like, this number was too hard for you.
Yeah, that's
how I was
hearing it.
It was not in your, like, capabilities. So, I don't know. There's something that's being left out there that I'm just a little bit more interested in. I'll probably go back and listen to Christy and Kelly's episode talking about this, because that feels like a B plot that got cut for, like, time or whatever, for brevity. But I want to know what that is. Paige in her talking head says that she does want to dance, and she does want to, like, be there with her friends. She does want to dance for Abby. It was just hard this week. The group performance, it's cute. Abby says they crush it. They do this little, like, Frank Sinatra-esque number, Baby, Let's Roll the Dice. I think it's kind of cute.
I just wrote that right afterwards, Abby was thrilled. She says they're going to win.
Slay. It's time for the awards. You'll notice that this guy who gives out the awards, the tall guy, is the guy who did the wrong score episode. He's like this really tall, thin black guy. You know what I'm talking about? That's him from the the time that Abby like harassed them into making sure that Chloe was second and Maddie was first.
Right.
I thought that was interesting.
Good thing neither of them are dancing.
Someone in the group, in like the contestant group, the competitors, did a number that's titled "Good Night and Go," which is the name of an Ariana Grande song, and Eli, I love that song. I love that song, and when I heard that, it like Winter Soldier like awoke something in my being of like, it's time to be an Ari fan, and I am clocked in every day, every hour of every day. I'm clocked in. I love that song so much. Ugh. I think about that song all the time because I was in my Sweetener phase, which is the name of that name of the album that song is on, when you and I first started being friends. And so when he said that, I was like, oh my God, I remember when I used to listen to that song all the time, and I would hang out with Eli, and it was the best. Asia gets first, duh. Melissa says in her talking head that it's going to be really hard for Mackenzie to get a solo at Nationals because Asia's like eating. She's like really like clearing these bitches. Kendall gets 6th. And I have in my notes, welcome back to Planet Earth, Jill. Because remember, Jill at the beginning of the episode was like, yeah, I think that Kendall could beat all these other sons of bitches at Nationals. She could win. And it's like, no, she actually couldn't because Kendall got 6th. She cannot beat everyone.
Yeah.
Brooke gets 3rd. Does anyone, listeners and viewers at home, Brooke is wearing this long chain of dog tags all the time, but only at awards. And I see the other people sitting on the stage wearing them. If you know what those are, call in. We're standing by. You know what I mean? Like, I think they're little like awards maybe, or like
maybe
category things or something, but she wears them all the time, and none of the other girls from the Abby Lee Dance Company do, but some of the other girls who are sitting on the stage do. So I'm wondering, like, I don't know. If you know what those are, write in. I want to know. What'd you say? I
said, what's the dealio?
What's the dealio? The group gets first, Slay. The moms in the green room are talking about how they really need to trust Abby to take her seriously, and that's like kind of a struggle right now. The girls come in and Abby hugs Paige and she says, hey, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. So sweet, actually, for real.
Yes, this was so bizarre.
Yeah, bizarrely kind, bizarrely empathetic, truly. And she doesn't yell at her.
You did good in the group.
Yeah. And she's like, all right, that's it. I'm like, okay, great.
I thought she was going to grab her and then just like snap her neck.
Yeah, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, like this murder. Because you're going to fucking die. Yeah. Abby says Asia's the one to beat for Nationals, obviously, because she has a perfect track record.
Yeah.
And Melissa's like, well, Mackenzie's coming back to class next week, and Abby's like, doesn't matter.
We're done with that.
Yeah. She's like, all right, and she can get in line with the other girls. Like, what do you mean?
Yeah, Asia, literally, she was like, has Asia ever lost? And Christy Ray's just like, no, she hasn't.
No.
Yeah, Abby tells the Highlands, I hope to see you in class on Monday. Kelly, I enjoyed our talk earlier.
Yes,
Goodbye.
Kelly, I enjoyed our talk earlier. Yeah.
What the fuck is that? Abby took feedback, thanked her for it, and then peacefully left.
I'm gonna go back and listen to their Back to the Bar episode. I have to know. Like, this is the first and probably only time we've ever seen this woman have a soul. I have to know the
very
tea.
Bizarre.
It's crazy shit to me.
Yep.
And with another guest choreographer, I thought she would have used this as a moment of like, this is why you need to trust me, because look what happens when you don't.
Yes. It was set up perfectly, and she just didn't do it.
I have so many questions.
How many?
So many. And the Nationals is in 2 weeks. Not next week, but the week after. We have Nationals. And then that's the end of season 3.
After.
We've done like basically a whole season of Dance Moms together, bro.
Hold on. They ended the season right before they go to Nationals?
No. Next week, not Nationals. Next week, Nationals.
I thought you meant today was the end of...
No,
I was
and then that with Nationals is the end of season 3. Sorry. Yeah.
That's wild, dude.
Crazy.
When does JoJo Siwa join the show?
Alexa, when does JoJo Siwa appear on Dance Moms?
According to an Alexa Answers contributor.
Ooh.
JoJo Siwa appears on Dance Moms on episode 3 of season 5.
we have a whole nother season.
A whole nother.
JoJo Siwa.
Yeah, I'm so unfamiliar with this person.
I'm so excited for you to watch her Karma music video. It is wild shit. Wild shit.
I'm excited.
Eli, what is
Yes.
your song of the week, brother?
I Believe in a Thing Called Love by The Darkness.
I believe in a thing called love. That's a great song.
An absolute bop.
Bangaroni.
It is.
Very good.
So that album came out in 2003. This was one of the albums I went back and
20
listened
years
to.
ago, Jesus Christ.
I know. And it is so... Oh, I thought it just started. It is so like 80s glam hair metal, but it came out in 03. That's phenomenal.
Yes.
I love that shit. Who's the other one? Is it like Steel Panther or something? Like, there's like a more modern band that does like full hair metal 80s style music, and they are awesome. I think it might be Steel Panther.
Magnolias. Oh.
No.
It's a great movie.
Yeah, I Believe in a Thing Called Love.
It's a great song.
By The Darkness.
By The Darkness. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's Steel Panther. They have albums called Feel the Steel, On the Prowl,
That's
and All You Can Eat.
That's Eli Core for real.
Look at these fucking dudes. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, they're all you.
Perfect.
That's who you think you are after having like 2 drinks.
No. That that's I'm a whole different person. I don't know. I'm not doing leather and sequins.
That's only when you're sober.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. My song of the week is a song called Soup by Remy Wolf. It just came out on Friday.
Okay.
This song is like, the messaging of the song is whatever. It's a disco feel kind of song. And I listened to this album when I went grocery shopping on Saturday. I had my soundproof headphones in.
Okay.
I went to Aldi's Nuts and I was like doing grocery shopping. And like, you'll appreciate this. Every time I've said this to anyone, they think I'm fucking stupid. And I know you will understand this, not because you're stupid, but because you have a soul, sort of. You'll get this. Have you ever heard a new song, like a song that like has just been released into the universe, or an album or whatever, and you think to yourself like, I'm so glad that I get to exist at a time in the world's existence where this album exists?
Yes, and I think I've done that with sports players too. How lucky are we that we get to watch like Tom Brady and LeBron James,
Stephen Curry, and like
unbelievable.
Yeah,
we get to watch these guys.
Yeah, I mean, even though I'm not her number one fan, yes, I kind of feel the way about Taylor Swift. Like
Simone Biles,
I get to just watch her unfold and like watch her do her thing, and like
this is a moment.
That's cool. Yeah, Simone
culture.
Biles. Oh my God. Which, side note, we were talking about Sha'Carri Richardson. Did you know that she has a Netflix series?
I did not.
It
know
like
that.
just came out, and Simone Biles also has a Netflix series. And there's like a whole bit about Sha'Carri Richardson's training. It's on Netflix. It's called something like kind of generic, something about like the champion or the race or something like that. I can't remember. And then Simone Biles has a special that's called Simone Rising. And they both look really good. But like the new Remy Wolf album is called Big Ideas. And I was listening to the song Soup in Aldi and like got a little emotional. Just like from the idea. Oh, not Marsha Blackburn.
Oh, Jesus. My phone
That's
lit
so
up,
annoying.
too,
Leave
and I
me
was like,
alone.
Did she text both of us?
No. But yeah, like I like got a little emotion just like listening because that song is so fucking good. And like, I don't know. I was just like a little overwhelmed by like, I'm so like thankful for my life, and I'm thankful I'm still alive, and I'm thankful that like my life has taken the shape and the form that it's in right now. And then to like top it all off, like on top of this very deep sense of like gratitude and peace and comfort and contentment, on top of it is just this layer of like, God damn it, I love music, and I love good music made by women. It's great.
Yeah.
So Soup, very fun.
Hell yeah. That's all I got.
That's all I got, folks. You can follow us on Instagram at The Pyramid Pod. You can follow me personally on Instagram. My username is at @NotAmandaB_.
Mine is at Eli_Farmer_.
Slay. friendly reminder once again that this is coming out Wednesday the 17th. Next Wednesday is not a regular podcast episode. It's just a YouTube video because we are recording an episode of Sounds Like a Cult next Monday, which is our recording night. So it's being used. Also, next time you hear an episode or watch our YouTube video, I'll be 28.
God damn, you're old.
My
Holy cow.
birthday's next Tuesday.
Oh.
28.
AARP card's going to be in the mail soon.
Fingers crossed. I can't wait to be 50. That's going to be my prime, for sure. For sure. That's all I got. You got any other parting words? Any other farting words?
I got a few of those.
Oh, God. Please keep them to yourself. Thank you so much for listening. Goodbye.
Goodbye!
Oh, my God. Powered by Aldi's Nuts Protein Puffs.
Yeah, dude.
And Cheddar Turtles.
I'm feeling girthy.
Ew.